Oh man, yeah, we've had quite a few TVZs here on the tail end of this, but hey, you gotta save a real good one here because we've had awesome ones. Of course, you had the European powerhouses, you had Dark versus Bunny, Cyril versus Cure, as you said, just absolutely epic. And now we're gonna see, really, I think, how what SOO's form really is, because of course, winning against Hero is extremely well done. Hero does have a tendency to lose online against some players that people I think would usually expect him to win against. And I don't know what to chalk that up to, but I know that it has kind of been a pattern where he loses to players who people would probably put a tier below him in online tournaments. But also there's the fact that SOO online it has felt, I think, a lot more consistent and a lot stronger than SOO when he was playing in that GSL run.
I mean, Titan, you say that. Actually, clarifying question. When you talk about his GSL run, are you talking about GSL last season? Or are you talking about like when he was top four or when he was in second place 4 times in a row? Because
yeah,
when he did that run, I was before him, but we saw Maru win 4 in a row, which is something that I don't think we're ever going to see beat, at least not in StarCraft 2. I was prepared to say SOO is the greatest player of all time. You know, like you get top 4, or you get second place in 4 GSLs in a row, even if you don't win one. That is enough to just. It's so damn hard. So SOO, I think his problem more than anything has been his consistency. He's good enough to get there, and then he just has traditionally lacked that little secret sauce, a little bit of extra something that turns an elite player into a champion. Now, he did it in Katowice, and he did it in the Kespa Cup, so he does have that going for him. But I would argue that his base level is good, but when other players elevate, he doesn't quite elevate as much.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely we saw in the last GSL was that kind of consistency with just a few small things. Even in that series, that best of 3 that he won to advance out of the round of 24 against Byun, actually, there was a lot of little things that SOO was missing. And I know that Pig did a great analysis on it a while back that I looked at a few times, where he was talking about just generally how SOO uses his vision. And when you compare it to a player like Raynor or Cyril, with how they spread their overlords, how they spread their creep. And SOO generally, I think, had a lot of trouble with that in his TVZ, where he'd get caught off guard by a lot of things just because he kind of forgot the small parts about, having an overlord in that position, or kind of regaining vision or control in one part of the map.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we're in general, actually, question for you. That video you saw, you watched with SOO, was that pre-military SOO, or is that post-military SOO? Because I don't think I've seen the video. Okay, post-military.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense. As we see SOO, it does seem like TVZ in particular is the matchup that he is struggling the most with, coming back from military. Part of it is, I think, the meta's shifted a little bit. We've seen players that, given his current form, we would expect him to see him wipe the floor with, say, Keen, for example, who just throw weird mech builds at him, and he just doesn't know how to deal with that, and then he dies. And then that was how Clem beat him in TSL. I was so excited about it, then Clem threw some weird Hellbat timings, and SOO died. And it's like, okay, well, clearly your understanding of the meta is not quite up to date just yet. And that, of course, can feed into, say, Overlord positioning, different things like that. But Titan, we got to talk about what's happening here in this game number 1. We got a 3cc 2-on-1 coming up, and you're talking about builds that SOO may not be experienced with. Well, this is probably one of them.
Yeah, it's a really awesome build that Byun is pulling out here, because this is one of those Terran builds that, if you do not have the correct read on it, can really catch the Zerg off guard, because it's as you said, it's 2 things. It's 3cc and it's a 2-1-1. So essentially, SOO, if he overreacts to it, will be behind economically, but there's also the chance that you don't read it correctly and underreact, and then that can get damage done. So it is going to be a fine line that SOO is going to need to toe here. Has a good queen count already up, though. You're looking at 7 queens there just for spreading creep. So I don't think that Byun is going to be able to find any damage with that initial marine push out, but with these medevacs being added on now, this is where it's going to start to get a little bit scary for the Zerg.
And that it is. We actually saw Byun doing this to Raynor yesterday in a game that actually he got nothing done. Because the 2-on-1, on the one hand, you say, yes, absolutely, it represents a lot of threat. But if the Zerg is aware, and SOO seems to be, he has a Banely's Morphing, and he's got 8 of them on the way, you can drone incredibly hard up until the point that the 2-1-1 moves out. And of course, because this is the third CC version, the TY-esque, now TY gets Hellions, this version from Byun does not, it hits later. So it's hitting right around the 6-minute mark right now, and that just means more time for Lings, more time for mains, more time for queens to save energy to make sure they don't really die all that much. But Lings and mains, they're not looking for the surround here. Moving backwards, Byun, but he's not going to get enough. Decent Bailey connection right there. Byun forced to move back onto the other side of the rocks. Good walls that make good neighbors, but maybe not for SOO. But the Marines can shoot over them.
Yeah, as you said, you know, that later time for hitting, it just means that SOO has that time to get the Banelings up, so he's not really worried about getting Banelings out, you know, by the 5-minute mark when that's going across the map. No, it's comfortable. The 4th hatchery is coming down right now for SOO. He's working on +1/+1 with the centrifugal hooks. And overall, this is just looking, I'd say, pretty comfortable for both players. Byun has that early 3rd base like he wanted, and SOO as well has not taken altogether really any damage. And I mean, the creep spread so far for SOO is actually really good. He's already getting it towards the middle of the map, and we're only about 7 minutes into this game, and he's shutting down this drop as well, so Byun's not getting an opportunity to clear that up.
Yeah, he's really not, right? Now, of course, Byun's timing is going to be what 1-1 does complete. Strangely enough, despite this being this greedy 2-1-1, which traditionally has your upgrades are going to be behind. Either you go double eBay, but it's super late, or you get a single eBay. And look at that, I'm on top of it right there with our 90-second delayed clean feed. Thank you, Snoopy. We're doing a great. We're in sync. But traditionally, your eBays are going to be a little bit later, which means the Zerg can kind of build a bit of a 1-1 versus +1 advantage. But Byun will have a little bit better upgrades for the time being, which will of course power this push forward. Now he runs forward, but you talked about this creep Titan. It's so far forward. Byun has to start sieging up on this push really far away from SOO's base.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially sieging like the 5th base location here just to clear up creep, and so this just gives SOO time to split his army, set up a surround, and this is where it gets really scary for the Terran, is if you give the Zerg time to set it up, I mean, how are you going to defend it? We see here the tanks are not sieged just yet. The Zerglings going to try and find their way on in, but this is a good choke point for Byun. Will it matter, though? There's just so much for SOO. And the pickup is going to be forced. SOO just cleans it up, and yeah, I mean, that creep spread it makes all the difference for the Zerg.
Would you say that was a superb break?
Maybe, but I think that'd be a little bit superfluous.
That's an SAT word right there, my friend. Well done.
Yeah, but so SOO's going to look to take this 5th hatchery, and right now you're looking at a Zerg, 81 workers, and again, the good news for SOO is he's actually been able to stick at a pretty low army count this whole time, because he's been able to read where Byun's movement is, and you now have that creep spreading past the middle of the map, and I gotta say, SOO is looking like he's going to be in a good position in this game. As long as he can like just keep up this defense, you know, stop Byun from finding these pushes, I mean, the Zerg's economic position is just amazing.
I mean, technically it could be better, but 81 drones is more than enough, especially as you're going Hydra, Ling, Bane. So you have that core of units that you keep alive, fight after fight after fight. It does feel a little bit weird to me, though, as Byun is going to find this base. He's going to stick on it, running away. Baneling's looking for the connection, but Byun, saving Private Marine, will be able to keep most of that alive, pushing on the left side as well. But again, it's so hard for him to push here. We talked about it earlier. You mentioned how good SOO's creep spread is. Well, again, it's damn good. Byun is having to spend multiple scans to push forward, and this is buying SOO time to set up, which was the timing that Byun, because the entirety of SOO's army was on the right side, if their creep spread had not been quite as good, I mean, Byun could have maybe found some damage, but he's going to move forward here, sees the Banelings morphing into this, maybe not. But Titan, one thing I want to point out here, it just feels weird to me because of the TVZs I've cast over the last 2 days, we're actually seeing lurkers get made. And I feel like the last 7 TVZ games I've cast have all been ultra play. So, you know, ultra into lose is a meme, but it seems to be lacking a little bit. Certainly, though, SOO, lurkers on the way.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been interesting since we had the nerfs on the lurker with their ability to burrow quickly with the adaptive talons upgrade. Has definitely been an option that Zergs have been opting into less, just because the actual pushing power, oh my god, Byun just barely saves that medevac, you know. Just knocks the dirt off his shoulders, says, yeah, no, as easy as, oh, this surround by SOO. He's got this set up, Byun. This is not the position you want to be in. The tank's going to go down. Some great folks fire, though, on the Banelings, but they're just, I think, too much here for the Zerg, and it's going to continue to chase it down the stutter step. is good, but yeah, that's just SOO collapsing on that extremely well.
I mean, Byun did a great job in that fight, making sure that he got really the best possible trade he could. It was not incredible for him. He lost his tanks. He was forced to give up position, but it was not catastrophic as it could possibly have been. Micring around the corner, forcing the Lings to go around single file, and he got a lot more damage on the army of SOO than he really should have. But yeah. SOO, he is on 5 bases now, and you talk about his economy. It's down a little bit. Look, he's down 2 workers. It's incredible. It's scary. We got to be worried about it. Oh, no.
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, the what's going to be hard here is, of course, though, when you're looking at it, even worker counts, SOO is, though, working on that 6th base. So it's going to be 6 bases, 7 hatcheries. And as the Zerg, you're really looking to deny this 5th. And if you can do that, then you can keep going. Oh my, the tank target fire is just so good from Byun. Again is going to be able to do it. Oh, Byun.
That was disgusting. Okay, so that push from SOO gets nothing done. The bottom right, he gets a base here as well, and unfortunately there was no concussive shell, so he couldn't chase the Hydras down. But we saw resources lost Titan before that fight. It was about, I think, maybe 2K in Byun's favor. I really want to see what resources lost differential is after that fight, because I think there was about 30 Banelings that died for almost no gain.
Yeah, I mean, Byun was just on top of that target fire, and that I really think that maybe SOO should have just kind of settled for using his Hydras to try and knock down the 5th, but as it's going to force another lift off, Banelings are rolling through, and this time the focus fire is not quite there, but there's just so much bio that it's so hard for SOO to push this position. Even if you try and focus down that command center, I don't know if it's going to work. Focus fire from Byun on the other side of the map isn't quite able to stop the forced pickup as the Banelings just trying to roll on through. SOO's losing so much. I mean, the thing is, though, he did trade out better in that fight, and the Zerg just has so much economy behind this that you're honestly perfectly fine with taking these trades.
I mean, Byun does lose 14 workers. It's something, but he doesn't really lose the 5th base. The planetary is delayed, but now we're seeing the timing that Byun has been looking for. There we go. It's 7,000. I think it was probably worse before that fight. That was a little bit better for SOO. But Byun, his upgrades are fully complete. So this is where he's looking to try to get as much damage. But look at that target fire! That is ridiculous. That was in like 3 different spots. 3 Banelings were in a triangle around Byun's army. And he says, no, I'm snapping every single one down because I'm Byun. Okay, fine. That was, we talked about the tank target fight was very good. That was ridiculous. It didn't get anything done. It just got 3 Banes. But still, that was ridiculous tight.
Yeah, Byun right now, I mean, he's really having to flex the micro, and I mean, he really has to, because the thing is, when you are in this situation where the Zerg is continuing to try and snowball, you need to try and find as many of these trades as possible. And the thing is, Byun is doing it. That gas bank for SOO is severely depleted because he's been having to replace these Banelings. And so that means that SOO has not been able to actually get into those lurkers. He has the tech for it. You know, the lurker den is done. It's there. The Hydras are also here, but there's just not enough gas to comfortably go into that alongside this continued pressure. As once again, SOO's going in. The tanks are here. They're going to get picked off. More tank focus fire, and the Banelings are in the front, which is absolutely not what you want as SOO. And Byun's going to find another amazing trade.
You know, Titan, I almost wonder, you talk about, okay, not going into lurkers. I almost wonder for SOO if that was something that is a decision that he has made, not just, oh, I can't afford it. Because, I mean, look, he's 2K, 1K right now. But more the fact that Byun's ghost transition is so quick. He has so many ghosts on the map, and once you hit 10, 12 ghosts, I mean, good luck. The lurkers are not going to do all that much. But with Ling Bane, then you can run Banes in. You can force at least the ghost snipes to get canceled. You cause some problems for the Terror. So maybe that is part of the calculus, but certainly it's that last fight, he's leading with Banes. It's not really the fight that he wants, but he's doing a good job, at least for the moment, of keeping Byun off that 5th base. Is again, Byun forced to lift up the tanks a little bit further forward this time. Banelings again getting target fired down. Not many of them are going to make the engagement, and it takes 6 Banes to kill a ghost. So Byun runs forward again, and again, SOO breaks his head against the wall that is Byun, and every time this happened, Byun's getting closer and closer to finally establish that 5th mining base. The snipes go down, Queen gets very low, but Transfuse barely keeps it alive. SOO again running forward, but again the Banelings, they gotta run away. Notice SOO gets in tank range. He's like, nope, I've done this too many times. No, back the hell on up, not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, really what we're seeing right now is, as you said, the tech for Byun is just here, so the lurkers aren't going to be as effective. Su's trying to knock down this tech as much as he can. He's done a decent job, as you said, of keeping Byun off that fifth, but with continued good trades, Byun is gonna be able to saturate it. He's at 70 workers. The fifth base is up, so he just needs to try and continue to break it. The thing is, the Vipers have not been in these fights consistently, and those Vipers have energy. There's 2 of them. Of course, you don't want to move them into the Ghosts with the EMPs, but you need those units, as again, the splits are gonna come through. The Banelings find some connections, but the Planetary Fortress has been established, and that just means that once again, Su has to back on up. He has to replenish his units, and he just has to keep trying to send wave after wave. And honestly, at this point, I wouldn't mind seeing if Su can like opt for any sort of a run by or a counterattack. I'm not sure if it's planetaries there at the third base location, but it feels like Su needs something else because he's running out of money. You know, it's replenishing, but he continues just to lose more and more.
The key, you talk about Su running out of money. The key thing I want to see him do right now, because he does dominate the map. It's hard for Byun to really move out. There we go. You talk about that planetary. I want to see Su take the 3 o'clock base-ish, you know, the base on the right side that is technically Byun's as the game goes on. Start to steal money from the Terran, because this is starting to turn into that late-game Turtle Terran, that war of attrition as Su again runs in. Tanks will fall, but it's all about the Ghosts. Tanks are, well, I mean, tanks are pretty replaceable, all things considered. The Ghosts, though, you want to make sure you have the energy on them, even as much as expensive as they are. So Byun micros backward. Again, that's a lot of Banelings to sacrifice for just about 7 SCVs and not much else. But I want to see Su start to steal money from Byun. Or that's the big deal, because if this game goes fully split map, if you can mine even half a base more than your opponent, resource loss differential doesn't matter nearly as much.
Yeah. And we're seeing Su has not really expanded to the bottom right side of this map. He's finally bringing over Suckling Bane here to deal with this Marine drop, but even then, yeah, we're just going to see these Queens focused down. Byun, yeah, just gets the cancel, picks on up, is going to continue to try and abuse this little ledge here. But the bottom right not being taken is annoying, because this is a lot of minerals that Su could be sucking up out of the map, and right now he's just taking it off of the top left. And the thing is, Su does have the creep spread to do it. He has the units, I think, to spare to try and kind of get bases set up in that position. But once again, we're going on in. Tanks are a bit far forward, but the Lings are all gone, which means that it's just the Banelings left, and those can be focused down. And again, it is just not a good fight for Su, and you're continually just running into this position. But Byun is fine with replacing his units. He's producing 2 tanks at a time, 2 Liberators. He has no trouble in rebuilding that tank count, and that's most of what you're eliminating right now as Su when you're going in.
Yeah, he's going to lose the upper left base as well. Luckily, he was able to mine some from it, which is nice, and, well, Byun is aware of this, so he's going to scan down. Not targeting the drones, though. Bit awkward. He's like, oh, let me scan here. I know the drones. Okay, well, you know, maybe we're going to deal with some Broodlings, but Lings and Banes are going to try to deal with this army. Vipers run forward, but good EMPs mean that there will be no blinding clouds. Even still, this army from Byun is starting to get broken down a little bit. That's a lot of Ghosts in the air. A lot of them have just died. This is going to be Su's opportunity, the one he's been looking for a while to try to break a base down. The Planetary will now fall. Lings trying to get on top of the tanks. Friendly fire means it will get low, but not dead just yet. And guess what? Byun, he's got another command center right there. Granted, it's not a planetary. It's a little bit less strong of a defensive position, but at least Byun's going to keep being able to mine from it. But for the first time in a while, we have Su actually taking position from Byun. Actually taking what can be considered some level of a positive trade.
And as you asked, we're seeing Su now take that bottom right-hand side of the map, which is what we both wanted, is for those bases to start being mined out. He's going to transfer the drones over. He has the rich Vespene Geyser there, which I think is the most important part. If you can get the rich Vespene Geyser base uncontested, because mind you, Byun has no position on this bottom side of the map. He's been having to expand up because that's where the contested fifth has been. Then that's a massive amount of gas income that Su is going to be able to get from it. And this is just a really big move here for Su to get these bases up. It's going to be able to allow him to keep replenishing his army, because right now, well, the army supply is actually ahead for Byun. You know, even with that trade going well, with the base getting knocked down, it's kind of evened out the game. Whereas before, it felt like Su was definitely taking a lot of losing trades. That one trade was enough to make it kind of even now, but that's it. Su still needs to find a real advantage right now.
No, he really does. And the thing I'm looking at, you take a look at, you know, eco banks, whatever you want to talk about. Link's actually all that thought, because again, Su trying to break Byun, but at this time he fully decides, nope, not worth it. It feels like the way you deal with this in the super late game that Byun has. Okay, his personal cloaking only just now getting started, a bit late. Only 20 minutes in, you know. That's not that bad of a timing, I guess. But anyway, the way it feels like you deal with this in the super late game, you get about 30 broods. And then even with everything else, you just kind of start to slow push, and that works out as the map fully mines out. But because SOO is not building a bank, he's spending all of his money on, well, things that are not broods. On Lings and Banes and Hydras and everything else. And actually, he's not mining gas right now. Look at that gas number increase. He has the rich gas base, but he's not mining from it just yet. He will not have the money to build the brood count that is necessary. So he's gonna play the Peter Pan Zerg, live or dies. Again, he's gonna try to run forward, but Byun retreats backwards. And it's so. How do you engage in this position?
Yeah, I think what I would like to see, we saw it earlier, is SOO, if he can wrap around here, there is that other ramp up towards the 5th and 4th base position that you can run up. And I think that might be the only chance if SOO can get a surround there. But as you said, right now we need gas, and I don't know. SOO is finally taking gases at his 5th base location, but he still has the 6th, 7th, and 8th where he can take gases. Here we go. He's going to try and come on in, but again, this is, well, it's sure it's 2 angles. It's one-dimensional. The Blinding Cloud, though, is very, very good onto that bio. Is going to allow for the Banelings to get some decent trades, but it's just not enough. Beo, it's just not enough. I mean, SOO just cannot break it.
He does kill a base. He does kill a command center. Another one's going to get dropped, but SOO does have a remax behind this one. He's got a bank behind him. We now are starting to see him steal money from the map. He is the upper left. He's bottom right. He has the 3 o'clock base as well. The drop gets cleaned up. So if SOO can stabilize on this position, yes, Byun is on 5 bases. He's taking his 6th. That's scary, but it is a rich gas base, so it's not quite as much resources in that base overall. And if he can break this down once again while he's stealing money from Byun to make it rate, so the Lings Banes again come rolling on in. Great connections actually onto the Ghost there with the Banes. And tanks are starting to fall. The Orbital is just going to get targeted down here. So yeah, oh, no, oh. Cool guys don't look at explosions, but unfortunately, there was a dud on the timer. And the explosion does not happen, and now SOO's going to have to go back once again. That went down to like, what, 10 HP? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was extremely close, but I mean, Byun's gonna be able to save it, and that's massive right now for the Terran as SOO.
Look at that mule hammer. Oh.
Yep, that's Terran. Woo! As Byun is gonna be able to finally use up all that extra energy that he's had on his orbital command centers to try and get back up his mineral bank, to try and replenish units. SOO, I mean, yeah, it's the bottom right. That's really been what's allowed him to remax, to get into a winning position this game, and he's going to go again now. He knows that he has the ability to remax. He's going to try and knock down more of the tanks. The Blinding Clouds are great. 3 of the tanks not able to fire, and a lot of them going down again onto the bio. And this time, even though the trade, sure, it doesn't kill Byun, and it's not the best for SOO. Mind you, SOO has that remax. SOO right now is sitting at more than half the map, and so he can replenish this much easier than his opponent.
All right, quick math here. Do you know how much one base is worth?
1,700 minerals per patch, per big patch. Say what?
It's like 26,000. It's like 26,000, I think.
Okay.
Total resources, minerals and gas. SOO is within spitting distance of losing a full base more of resources compared to Byun. Which is fine. If he takes the base from Byun, then he's going to be +2 base, and the calculus works out. But that is insane. Even still, though, that push from SOO was fantastic. And Byun, he's going to try to take 2 bases. The case of one is he's lost an orbital. He's lost another. He's lost a regular command center. It's the tanker. The tank can deny mining from there. That's pretty cool. But Banelings, they come rolling forward. It's still one-dimensional, though, here, Titan. Even still, more tanks will continue to fall. Lings getting on top of them. Banelings not getting the best connections. And SOO is forced to run back, but the supplies are starting to pull further and further and further in the direction of the Zerg after each of these fights, Titan.
I think that for SOO was a bit of a misplay there. Again, there's 2 angles available. There's ramps, there's options here, and so just kind of railroading your units in. You know, SOO does, yeah, it's a lot of money. He has more money than his opponent, but you can't really continue to go off that. Of course, I mean, I think SOO's going to be fine with the mining. As you said, 2 additional bases over your opponent, but you do have to be careful. 171 supply to 117 is pretty telling. This base is going to be denied once again. And sure, the tanks will be able to at least stop some of it, but Abduct comes through, tank goes down. And honestly, with just that, I think just the Hydrals could probably harass that, but it's going to be a slow burn right now for SOO and trying to win this game. And just has to be careful not to throw away too much, because as you said, there's the mule hammers. We saw that before. We see another one coming down, and there's a lot of resources that can be sucked up off these bases from those mules.
And I love Byun. He didn't intentionally keep the orbital, but he does have building armor. So Lings are going to knock down a bunch of the mule hammers. We talked about that one. So SOO rolling in once again. That tank is sieged up, but it will go down. Couple things coming from the right side, going to knock down even more tanks. Byun now dropping below 100 supply. His army still incredibly powerful. He just only has 24 SCVs, which, while that's important, that absolutely is a problem. When you can drop, like, what was that, 7 mules at a time? I mean, it really is all about the gas mining. So Byun does need to take the refinery there on the rich gas space. He's running out of the ability to build tanks and Ghost at the speed that he would like. And Pure Marine in the late game is not okay, well, that's a graph as Ling's Veins again coming in from SOO looking for something. But Pure Marine in that late game with the tech that SOO has is not something that you really want. So the orbital is just going to give this position up, trying to go, well, run away for a second. And right now, we do not have SOO taking more bases than Byun. Right? If this game goes fully mined out, I'm curious, actually. I think SOO will have a little more. He actually mined out a decent amount of the upper left. But at least the Byun has been able to split the map briefly. And Ghost Snipes are they're going to kill a Hydra, too. There we go. We got to point out, yeah, 139 supply to 178. But Byun is in the army supply lead. Both players are pretty damn broke. This is not the... This is bad for Byun. This is hard for Byun. But this, with how inefficiently SOO has been fighting, it's really not all that great. Again, Bio runs forward. Bailing is trying to crash in. A little bit of the army on the left side is going to be sectioned off, and I think more importantly, this orbital getting very low indeed. But now you got to run away. The Lings are gone. Nothing to offer for the Banes. The Byun, again, he holds. The supplies, the army supplies, they're still pretty equivalent.
I mean, I felt like almost 4 times over this game should have been done. I feel like SOO should have been able to close this out, but Byun is holding on. He's microing these fights extremely well. He has ghosts. He has, a lot of bio and shirt. Bio in the late game, it's like paper mache with the Marines. It gets a little bit wet from the Baneling acid, and then it just crumbles. But I mean, right now, SOO needs to find damage. He needs one of these pushes here to work, because he's going to start to mine out of those other bases. And Byun is just going to pull back again to his tanks on the high ground, and the base is going to go down. No, the CCs are going to survive. SOO isn't even able to kill the command centers, but the army supply is starting to even out finally here for the Zerg as he's just going in again. The wraparound with the Banelings, but a lot of the Zerglings are gone, but they're just too much. Byun, the blinding cloud, is going to be able to pick off a lot of these units, and I think that was probably the trade that SOO needed to finally snowball this into a win.
Yeah, the one orbital that's been burning for so long, Byun had it running away, so it wasn't consistently repaired, so it never stopped. Hydras knocked that one down. This army from Byun is so red. And even more importantly, again, it is Marine tank. He does not have the gas anymore. Even as we talk about the mule hammers, it's only going to be 5 this time, as he lost so many mules in that engagement. You got to be careful. Viper, don't want to kill your own hatchery. I think he's going to kill his hatchery. Okay, no. SOO's on top of it. But at this point, right, it's a war of gas more than anything. As the tanks continue to drop scans, that's still 200 minerals that Byun will not have. I mean, sure, eventually because to regen the energy, but it's not all that great as SOO runs forward, forced to lift up. A couple more SCVs will go down. It is, of course, 15 or 20 SCVs, 19 SCVs versus 63, and Byun can just not hold this position. He does not have this splash damage that he needs anymore. So SOO comes sweeping in once again. Solidly freaking 30,000 resources lost in the worst, but it does not matter because Byun cannot take the last 2 bases that are owed to him in this game. You heard it here first, folks. Resources lost doesn't matter.
I mean,
it does.
He just needs to stop attacking the same position. He's been hammering the same spot, and there's been an opening on for 2 angles for so long. I feel like if SOO at any point comes in, flanks, double pronged, hits this, gets us around, this game is over. But the fact that he hasn't has been keeping Byun in this game. As I mean, SOO, sure, he's starting to mine out, but he still has more. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh, the orbital's dead now,
the
though.
base is gonna go down.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that might just be enough to say GG. I mean, Byun is gonna have to float over one from one of his other bases. I don't know if he even has. I should have another orbital.
Oh, he's got plenty of orbitals, dude. Have you seen how many mules he's been dropping? Like,
But yeah, he has to float that one over now, and I mean, I suppose the only saving grace for Byun is that he was denying this bottom 3 o'clock base, but now at this point, that doesn't really matter because he doesn't have any mining himself.
Yeah, it's getting hard. I mean, Byun has been doing a great job of just pretty consistently scanning that 3 o'clock base and denying mining from that. So, you know, I almost feel like, so Byun is really positioning hard on this upper left base. This is where he's kind of set himself up to be. I wonder whether it makes sense for him just to rotate right and take the 3 o'clock base, but I guess SOO has mined a lot from that one anyways. This Mule's dropped to long distance mine from the interior base. That's the situation that Byun is in. His money is broke. It is so far gone, and what is SOO gonna do with this? He's getting some infestors. He's like, hey, you know, my economy's not in the best spot. I mean, it's good compared to Byun, who his minerals are not increasing right now.
Yeah, he's long distance mining with mules. I do like the infestors being added on though for SOO. He knows that he doesn't have a ton of mining, and so he's going to try and use it to get some better units, some spellcasters here, which you really need. Is the Viper doesn't get sniped there. The ghosts are a bit far forward. It is 4 tanks though that have been rebuilt, and Byun is really just banging everything on this army. He's banging everything on muling this base. This army is what he needs to win the game with. And he's going to clear up the creep, which will help a little bit, but this is just, it's a war of attrition. And if Byun makes one misstep, he's going to lose it.
Only a casual 16,000 Zerglings have died in this game.
Yeah, it's the swarm, Beo. It's fine. They got more where those came from.
I mean, we have the famous, what is it, the Rainer game when he lost, I think, a thousand lanes. That was like, wow, that's insane. Yeah, we've surpassed that one, folks. Yeah.
Broad Infestor. This is it. SOO.
Or
he's
I'm
going
sorry
for the move.
Yeah. I'm sorry, 1,600 links, not 16,000. I can't talk, but yeah. That Infestor, I mean, what do? Do you neural a tank and try to get a good shot off there, kill a tank with that one? You're looking for the ghosts, but they're only 4 ghosts. They're not, I mean, they're relevant, but they're not quite as relevant as they once were, and there's a timing on that one. So SOO, he's actually given Byun a bit of a window to actually extract money from the map, which is not something, Titan, that Byun has been able to do this entire game, but also that's because SOO is securing his last true mining base. And the balance of things, SOO has mined from the basin that Byun has. Byun is not mined from the basin that SOO has.
Yeah, and there's less minerals available right now for Byun, and he's trying to get everything he can. Hey, scans, gets the Infestor, so very nice snipe there from Byun. But there's more where that came from. There's 75 more supply of Zerg over him that SOO has available, and again, it just feels like right now, SOO, you're waiting for the max out, you set up a surround, and you try and knock this down, and if you can do that, I don't know if there's much that Byun will be able to do to hold on, but, you know, SOO's reluctant to push in. It makes sense. You know, for the past 34 minutes, he's been trying to push the same location, and for the past 34 minutes, it has worked to an extent.
Well, maybe the last push here coming in from SOO. That is so many Banelings died. It's going to be so hard for Byun to make the push that he wants, the defense that he wants. Lane's coming in from the right side, looking for the surround. Blinding Claws on top of the tanks. Byun retreating, running for his life, looking for the most cost-effective trade that he has ever cost-effectively traded. But he's got to run back. Blinding Cloud forcing the army to not fight here. And Marauders, they're only 1, so there's nothing really to tank for the Banelings. There we go. Ghost Cloak goes down. Great splits from Byun here. He runs back with a Planetary Falls. Not that it really matters, because that Planetary was only space defense. Even still, 1 SCV remains for Byun. Despite that fact, though, he was down 40 army supply. Now he's not. He will lose his orbital, though. 11 Marines are on the way here. And with how many Banelings were just spent, SOO's not... We see his money increasing, which is more than nothing, as there we go. Good EMP, but the Fungal, it's going to whiff. And now these Infestors are just about useless. The Ghosts run forward. We all know Ghosts, of course, the ultimate QPers of the late game.
He's got more supply, Beo.
He's
up 8 army supply.
There's like 1 mining base for SOO. Byun, wait. Byun has a base that he's not mined from all that much. Yep. Right? He does have that interior base. And he is only going to have to defend that 1 position.
Yeah. And I think Byun here is actually picking up. He's going to send a drop over to try and pull the entire Zerg army over to this base. And then he's going to also try and take and get mining. And I think, yeah, he's going to deny the mining. This is a massive move here from Byun. He can actually just strand SOO right now on 185 minerals. 6 more links, that's it. There's no more mining for SOO. Byun has actually just completely shut down everything. SOO's going to try and come in. Byun, you have to be so careful here. The Banelings are rolling on in. There's just one tank. Byun, can he take this fight? It's just the Hydras left. The tank is still there. It's so close.
Oh, the
medevac down. Oh, I think it's just enough. The medevacs are going to get knocked down. There's nothing left for Byun. And he was so close to making it work, but SOO's going to take game 1.
Oh, my. I know we're supposed to say intelligent things about this game of StarCraft and, you know, be entertaining. What I have no words after that. Yeah, like that was the distillation of TPC.
I mean, that was as, I think, Return to Monkey just play StarCraft as it gets, of just running units at each other until you eventually win. But yeah, as you said, I mean, it feels like Byun there, maybe there was so close, there was a chance, couldn't quite pull it out. But the fact that he made it so close, I think says, I not to be too harsh, but I think it says a lot more about SOO in that game than it does about Byun, because I feel like, again, there was about 20 minutes there where if SOO took the time to set up a multi-pronged attack, set up, you know, 2 angles, he probably could have just crushed Byun's army and won that game a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, SOO was going for those minor multi-prongs. He would send about 20 links around the right side and get on top of the tanks, pretty much from the moment that Byun started to try to take that upper left base. And it was successful, but yeah, you're right. Not the true big 360 cinematic surround that we would expect from, say, a Cyril or a Rain or something like that. But on the flip side, SOO just beat Byun game 1. Byun took down Dark in the late game, and of course, Dark is like the only player that we've seen that can take Maru down in the late game consistently. So, you know, yeah, he did not play perfectly, 100%. He kind of played a little bit. He played very caveman Zerg, which of course has been his hallmark since the beginning of time. But he took down a late game Terran on Data C. I mean, I can't fault him too much for that.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. As I mean, that is definitely a very hard map for Zerg to win on in that situation. And yeah, I mean, that was just, I'm still recovering from it. I'm still taking a few deep breaths here, but we're on to Waterfall. This is, I mean, I don't know if this game is going to be much less chaotic because Waterfall is a much smaller map. And so there's a lot more potential for these skirmishes, for quick timing attacks and things. I mean, right now you're looking at, there's only about, what, 6 comfortable bases per side of the map, and then a 7th that you can contest. So, you know, it's about the size of the other small maps and the other map pools. I think the real main part of this map is a really nice job by Byun there. He just picks off the creep tumors and a few lings for like 2 Marines. You take that.
It's something he's been doing a decent amount of, and it's like, okay, this is kind of weird. But look, if you can get an Overlord, if you can knock creep tumors down, it works out for you rather well. Now, you talk about this map being a little small Titan. The one thing we have to point out is, of course, that third base that everyone is taking in the triangular position, there's no ramp at the front of it. So while the map is small, it's kind of an artificially increased distance to get on top of the actual the third base, which is really so important to punish in either setup. And then you also tend to fight yourself into a concave if you try to attack through the middle, or it's a little bit hard to attack the left side if we look at SOO's position there. So at the very least, SOO is going to have some good ramps to defend. But Byun kind of going for the same thing he did in game number 1. This time, though, no third CC. This is just the 2-on-1. And that means it's going to hit faster. That means it's maybe going to hit a little bit harder. SOO with only 6 lings on the map. I'm curious what is in production. Alien Nest on the way now, but that's not going to be done at the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, I think right now, really what you're looking for, a nice scout there by SOO is going to be able to see the Marine count, so that should kind of cue him off to what's happening. Yeah, cancels the spore even. What? Is that a kill? I'm not going to question. Anyway, but what you're really looking for is that queen count and how many lings we are going to go up to. We should, I mean, comfortably to defend this, you want to be over 20. I don't think SOO is at that just yet. He's, I think, sitting right around the 16 or so mark with the Zerglings, but the medevac is here. The Marines are here, and yeah, SOO, 12 more lings. That is going to be necessary as the creep is going to be knocked down, and oh, it's just going to dive on the queens, and yeah, that's what happens when you don't have enough lings. The queens are going to be exposed, and this...
Game 3? Game 3. Okay, so the queens are dead. Lings are dead. Remember, Bio is going to get on top of the drones, and yeah, sure, they're low, but with the queens there, nothing to defend. Yeah, we have 30 lings on the way. Byun is maybe going to get this third base. Lings are now looking for that positioning, and Byun says, okay, well, I'll kill the lings. I'll kill the bait. I'll get you and your granny, too, as the third base is not going to go down. Byun, he's going to kill it right as he leaves, right? Because he doesn't want to have to fight the broodlings as well. Drones are going to get pulled. Nothing's killing this. Folks, we're going to go to game 3. SOO was not prepared. He was ready for the 2-1-1 with the third, not ready for this one. And after a, I don't even want to know, like 40-minute game 1? Game 2 lasts just about 6 minutes.
All right, so Beo, I have a question for you.
Yes, I have an answer for you.
We're on to Inside and Out, the map. What is your opinion on wearing socks inside out?
Why do you do this to me? You're incorrect. So, okay, let's talk about this logically.
Okay, yeah.
If you have comfy, like wool socks or something, they have the pilling on the inside.
Yes.
Right. So they are designed to be more comfortable on the inside of the sock.
Yeah.
They hug your feet. They're so nice. Other socks, they are designed in such a way that most athletic socks, they still have that pilling, not as much, but they still they have all the sweat wicking properties, everything else you would want on the inside of the sock, and the outside is meant to be tougher, so it does not rub away against your shoe. There is, unless you're talking about like double socking it for some reason to try to avoid blisters, and even then, that's not quite as good as using moleskin or something. I don't know. Titan, do you wear your socks inside out? Like, do we need to have do we need to have an intervention here?
I do not. That is not a conscious choice that I make. I just sometimes when you're lazy and you're at home, sometimes I'll throw one on inside out. One of those like really cheap socks that like is just doesn't really have anything. But that is the only occasion where it will happen usually.
He thinks the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah, exactly. I just just wanted to throw that out there. Just a little question, a little poke, a little prod, maybe.
Well, I'm sure you sounds like you produced the desired reactions. Byun moving out of the map here again with one of these marine openers, trying to catch an overlord, and supply block SOO right at that 36 supply mark, which is kind of annoying. You don't really want to build any overlords that are outside of the build right now because it's 100 minerals, right? It's a larva. Both things are in pretty short supply for the Zerg in the early game, but he's not going to find that one. Creep tumor on the left side, so Byun's not going to get on top of that one either. So already a better early game than SOO had in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, that game, everything went wrong. I'm gonna to be completely honest. Like the first 4 Marines sniped 2 creep tumors and lings, and that's just like start to finish. It was a train wreck there for SOO. But we are gonna see once again the 2-on-1. SOO is gonna sneak a Zergling in. Doesn't see anything, but he knows that there's extra Marines. So I mean, again, I'm just really hoping that as a safety, and this is really what most Zergs you should do if you're not entirely sure what the build is. If you want to be safe, go up to around 26, 30 Zerglings probably around that 5-minute mark, just so you have them available in case it is going to be some sort of a 5-minute push. Make sure you have the queens, but those lings really need to be there for that buffer between the Marines and the queens, because in a straight up fight the Marines will just be able to snipe down the queens even with transfuses.
Yeah, so there we go. We are starting to see more lings on the field now. SOO saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, shame on me. Or yeah, fool me twice, won't fool me again. There we go. Carapace is going to be on the way. Probably skip that +1 attack for just a little bit, as again SOO wants to make sure he does not lose the game in about 10 seconds by losing all of his queens. So again, more lings are on the way. He seems pretty prepared for this one. But actually, I want to see what the ling count is, because look at the supply, and as much as I saw Lings on the way, Su's pretty heavily supply blocked right now. 4 Overlords on the way, capped at 86. All right, 76. Byun still has a window here.
Yeah, 16 more Lings on the way, though. This is the correct timing. 24, there we go. Su gonna now finally get up to the correct number. Still, though, you can't be too far out with the Queens. Wait for your Lings. You don't need to fight this right now, Su, as the Queens are gonna go down, but now the Lings coming on in should be just barely enough to fight this as the reinforcements are coming. Is it? I mean, Byun's just pushing up because, yeah, the Lings aren't here just yet. He's gonna snipe down another Queen. A nice choke point here against the Lings. Just wait for them, Su. You didn't need to take the fight there, as he's gonna eventually clean it up. The drones have to be pulled. He's gonna lose 3 of them, but more importantly, loses about 6 or so Queens, and that's creep spread energy, that's transfusion energy, and injects. That, yeah.
Yeah, Byun and killing people with a 2-1-1, name a more iconic duo. Although, in fairness, I haven't seen him do that much recently. You know, he's been good, but he hasn't been. Look at me, I got a 2-1, you're dead. But this has very much been sorely mishandled by Su in 2 games. And he dealt with game 1 just fine. But this one's been sorely mishandled. Now we're seeing the Maru 2-1-1 right with the additional Widowmine, the 3rd medevac as well, allowing for that continued pressure as Lings are going to surround everything. And good drag on the Widowmine. Byun was looking for that one, the hot pickup, keeping the Marines alive. Well, he just shreds a bunch of Lings, but even still, another Queen will not go down. But this position from Byun behind the mineral line is absolutely fantastic. And of course, because there are 2 medevacs here, there's personal healing. The Lings are all going to go down. He's going to get another Queen and make it a 3rd, because you know what? Byun is just kind of, well, actually, I guess he's not going to get that one. Good kiting there from Su, but Byun's still ridiculous in this game. And behind that, his upgrades are, of course, delayed. He has 1-1 now. Normally, if you're going to go with the Maru version of this build, you add in the 3rd medevac, you add in the Widowmine, but you have +1 attack behind that, and you lead that into your next push. But Byun going a little bit greedier off of this, assessing the fact that he's done enough that he can go into the mid game. But I know you didn't see this game at Titan. The last time we saw Terran do that one, it was Cyril versus Cure, and Cure lost 20 minutes later.
Yeah, well, we'll see if history's going to repeat itself. I think the one saving grace right now for Su is his upgrades. I mean, if you look at it, 1-1 is already done, +2 Carapace is already on the way. He started those upgrades extremely quickly, and so there's really not going to be a situation where the Ling Bane is not going to fight well, at the very least, and this medevac being scouted is very, very good for Su. He's going to bring in Lings on over, just keep an eye on that. And so it's not disastrous. It's a bad situation for Su for sure, because the creep spread, as you see, is severely held back because he just hasn't had the Queen energy available in order to spread it as far as he would like. And now this 4th base is going to be under fire. The Zerglings are going to try and fight it, but even with that 1-1 upgrade advantage, you still have to take this fight well, and that choke point is just too good. Byun is just finding so much value right now. Eventually it will be cleaned up here. The pickup comes through, and Widowmine drop. 11 drones in the back.
It's funny looking at this game. We're kind of seeing evidence of what I was talking about earlier, where Su does not seem as hip. He's very much, he's the hello fellow kid Zerg right now. He's like, look, I know how to play modern Zerg, and as long as you don't question him about it, he's gonna be fine. But then you throw some interesting wrinkles and things that he was not running into back when he was playing and winning, or when he was winning Katowice and getting 2nd place in the GSL. And then he just doesn't respond to it well enough. It's not within his algorithm as he figures out how the game is played. Byun runs forward, and good target fire on the Bane, but they're still going to make some pretty good connections. We're seeing the upgrades. Well, Byun has 1-1, but even still, decent trade there from Su. But again, Su is only on 68 workers, right? His 2-2 far in advance of Byun, sure, but he's not able to build the macro that he really wants.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like right now for Su, it feels like a situation where you really need to try and find some sort of advantage here somehow with this 2-2 timing. It feels like it's going to be the best time. Is really nice job here dealing with the Widowmines. Oh, Queen's a bit too close, but so far dealing very, very well with them. Has only allowed 3 drones to go down. A few more Lings die to that than you would want, and this one in the main will burrow. But a nice drag on that again. So, I mean, Su's dealing with it, but now look at this. The base is going to go down. Su doesn't bring his units over in time. And that's just the 4th going down. It has to be replanted. And now, as the Zerg, I mean, you need something drastic.
Yeah, this is, Su was in position to defend that as random Widow Mine on the map's going to kill a ludicrous amount of Lings. Su was in great position to defend, but he clicked his army over to the left when he should have clicked it over to the right. But he says, I'm just going to go all in. This is fine with my 2-2 timing versus your 1-1. Maybe I can make something happen. The Baylings are not getting connections they want. That being said, Widow Mines will fall. Byun micring backwards for his life here, and he's forced to pick up behind the wall. Good walls, again, they make good neighbors. In fact, they make good victories for Byun because this is not getting enough done for Su anymore. Baylings will all fall down. 5 SCVs in totality and maybe a couple supply depots. That is not enough. Su on 4 hatcheries, kind of. Actually, he's only on 3 hatcheries, really. Byun steaming across the map. His 2-2 is going to be done soon, finding a bunch of drones on the transfer. And Byun now, as he's up 30, 40 army supply queens continue to fall. Su cannot even reinforce the army that he has, even with the money that he's got, because again, lack of hatcheries, lack of queens is all that we're going to say about that one. Is looks like Byun, he burnt down a supply depot, so fortunately supply blocked, and that means he's not going to max out, but his upgrades are done here. Titan, he's on the top of the 3rd base. He's got a position behind the mineral line once again. What truly can Su do?
Yeah, it's really not a lot. I mean, Byun has just managed this game extremely well. Su has not been able to respond to the aggression and to the different plays that Byun has been throwing out. And there we go, GG. Byun is going to take game number 3. It started out looking really solid, and it just kind of started to go downhill after that.